When he play ET, and then whatever I play, maybe I play like Morph. But his ET, I think, is one of the best.
Well, what about the Ringmaster hero? You know, we're seeing this guy all over pubs, but you know, what do you think about Ringmaster?
I think it's really OP. It's like fucked up because every spell, the lane is strong and ulti is like broken. And I think when it came out to pick, everyone would pick it. If it's not nerfed.
Yeah, I feel like it probably will be by then. But you know, what about you? What's your favorite hero to play at the moment?
I really like Lina.
Lina. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those heroes are kind of enabled by Gleipnir. Do you like the item, and do you think it kind of adds a new depth to carry?
Yeah, I think it's the carry now. I think it changed a lot from 3 years ago or like 4 years ago. Now the carry need to be able to see the game in the bigger picture and gank a lot, I think.
Yeah, you can't just AFK.
Kind of like a playmaker right now. So it's kind of like a mid, but in a carry lane. Yeah, that's what I do carry now.
Yeah, so would you say it's more balanced between, because mid's also kind of got a bit more carry-ish over the years, right?
Yeah. Mid is a bit carry too. So now carry playstyle changed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how does it feel when you know, you take a step back and you can just kind of just be the active playmaker, and you know, your mid's just going and farming and hitting creeps when Lorenov's just farming? Well, how does that feel?
Okay, to be honest, at first it's kind of weird because I want to hit all the triangles and all the engines. But you know, you just need to do what is easiest to win. So at first I'm not really liking it.
Yeah, but you've got into it now.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got a lot of relationships around scene. You know, you've been in a few different teams. You know, I know that you're quite close with Whitemon. You know, have you got a chance to catch up with him in Copenhagen yet?
Yeah, yesterday I was talking with Whitemon and Mikoto and my Talon ex-teammates.
Very nice.
So we were talking like 4 or 5 hours because we didn't see each other for like a year, I think. Last time we saw each other was in Seattle.
Yeah.
So it was really good catching up.
That's awesome. It's good to still have that relationship. And yeah, I mean, what would it be like? I mean, you know, Talon, if you had to face them in the playoffs, you know, what would that be like for you?
I would try my best to beat Mikoto. Because they won us in the TI quals.
Yeah.
And it was really butt-hurting for me.
So you would win?
I would win.
Good to hear, good to hear. All right. What would it mean like with these players especially to you know, make a deep run, and what's your expectations for the international?
I don't really have expectation. For me, I just want to do my best, and if I need to look back, I don't have to think that I need to play better or something. I just need to feel like whatever happened, I did my best. So
great mentality to have. Yeah. All right. 23, thanks so much for coming to talk to me, and best of luck at the international.
Thank you very much.
Hello again, I am here with Insania from Team Liquid. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Todd?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. I will keep track of any other players if they ask how I'm doing. You ask, that's very, very kind of you. How old are you?
30.
You're 30, and how many TIs have you been to now?
Not that many considering my age. I think TI 9 was my first one.
Yeah.
And I picked the gyro, and then
Famously.
decided...
I wasn't going to bring that up.
No, but I do, so nobody else does.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I skipped TI 10 out of shame.
No, you did.
No, we didn't qualify
didn't
for that one. Yeah, and then so 11, 12, and now 13. So
Okay. Grimstroke. You are supposedly the best professional Grimstroke player.
Okay.
This is a statistic I got off the internet.
All right.
But I feel like some of these supports, like maybe Grimstroke and stuff like that, and maybe even Disruptor, are they still super popular? Because now it's all this Sven and Tinker and stuff like that. You're a support player. Have you now had to suddenly start playing heroes that maybe traditionally wouldn't have been considered supports?
Absolutely. Like, I've been playing Naga Siren, I've been playing Tinker, and then like sometimes I just look at our entire draft and I'm like, how is this like what Dota had developed to? Like when I started playing the game, it was much more clear like what a support was.
This is a support
and
hero.
what a core was.
Yeah.
No, times have really changed. And I know pretty recently, I think I said in another interview that I miss playing like the traditional supports.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind playing, you know, like Lich every once in a while.
Yes.
And just, you know,
Or Oracle, for example.
being a Lich. Yeah. I don't need to stack 3 camps with illusions while like I'm like at the same time deluging someone and then netting them for 7 seconds, and like you have to do all these mental gymnastics. I'm okay with like the boomer supports being good for a bit.
God, yeah. Do you think that because of the nature of like the whole facets and innates and that kind of slight power creep that we've seen in Dota, that essentially the idea of a5 as being like this squishy but useful hero, that's gone? Or do you think it's just the nature of this particular patch?
I think it's very different. I think the really cool and interesting with facets is that Valve has opened up a way to diversify the game very quickly. Like instead of changing 4 spells, you can just change a facet, and now it's a completely different playstyle for the hero. And I think there's a lot of room for Valve to make that feature like one of the most hyped things about Dota ever. So I like it. I think right now we're in a place where it's still very fresh, and that's why you have some things that are maybe like a bit overtuned, or it doesn't really make sense to Dota in the long run, and
it's a little chaotic, right?
Exactly. And I think these things we should appreciate when we have them, because I know like when I look back like 5 years ago, I'm like, oh wow, I really missed that thing with Coddle where you had the giant lamp around you and like it was daytime and you just heal everyone. I really missed that.
Right.
But it was also super broken.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, why they removed it? Yeah.
Oh man. So ahead of the groups, I want to ask you what you think of the other 3 teams in your group. Aurora.
So last year, Aurora was one of our toughest opponents, I would say. If not for Gaming Gladiators, I think they were like the team that we had the most competitive series with last year. So very well familiar with them. A lot of respect for that team. I think coming out of SCA and not having like the practice that we do in Europe, I think is quite a tough hill to overcome. And I think last year they did, and they did it tremendously. I think this year they've kind of been struggling to find that form. But in my eyes, they're always quite a tough opponent, and yeah, I'm looking forward to playing against them. It'll be a good series.
What about Team Spirit?
So Spirit's one of the teams I think I respect the most, just flat out. I think whenever we are out of an event, I'd be the happiest if they won.
What is it about them that you like?
I think it's something to do with the way they play that is so different from how we play. And I just have to appreciate like the way they make it work, and it feels like something beyond maybe what I could create if like I was in charge of a team. I don't know if I could make a team play like Spirit.
What about Beast Coast?
So Beast Coast is a rather new team. I think they did something cool this year where they like restarted the entire roster after having a very stable roster and with a lot of like kind of unknown players. But they decided to mostly stick with the same group of people and build the team. And this is something that I obviously am a big fan of. That's kind of how we made our team.
Of course.
And I have a lot of respect for that again. I really like that about them.
And you're confident going into TI?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the patch hasn't changed much. And I think we were in really good shape for the past 2 events. And I feel like we've been working really hard, grinding a lot coming into this. So I have high expectations and high hopes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, dude. That's great answers to all my questions. I appreciate it.
Take
it easy. All the best.
There might be a reason why Insania gives so much respect to Aurora, and it's because they basically lost every single series they played in 2024 against them, or tied. Let's be real, or tied. 2 losses, 2 ties, not that bad. But we're going to see it here again. You are watching, of course, group stages in the road to the international, and we have changed things up on the panel. I am Shiva, I'll be your host for the rest of the day, and I am joined by 3 fantastic human beings, and they're also very smart, so that helps a lot. Lacoste, how are you doing?
Smart and me in the same sentence. I don't know about that, but yeah, you know, really happy to be here. We talked about us being on the panel. It's been the last DR's panel, like grand final, so good to be here.
Good to be here, Effie. All smiles.
All smiles. I mean, it's TI, it's exciting. We just want to watch the best Dota. It feels like Christmas for a lot of us, and just happy to be here.
Give me the upset. I've had none of it so far. And like, I'm seeing gaming win, I'm seeing extreme win. I don't care right now. I want like the spice. Maybe our series becomes spicy because like the morning, like we got some Bristol 5. It was chill from Team 0. That's good. They lost though, but like
they won one of their games against Falcons.
Yeah, but they didn't win with the Bristol 5.
An upset?
They didn't ruin all our pubs, Sheila. That's the thing. You can't win. You know, you need to win with the strat to make it ruin everybody's day, and that's what TI is about: ruining people's days because good strats come into play that you weren't ready for.
Okay, well, when he's talking about ruining people's days, he means in-game and players.
Correct.
Because we are here to make your day so much better, and we're doing it by showing you a lot of Dota 2. Group stages are going on. There's 3 streams at the same time to be able to cover all the matches, and this is it so far. So we're kind of halfway through the day. We're 3 series still to go, and there are 5 series in total, so we're almost halfway point. So far, I think, Teacup, there's not that much that we can learn from the game so far.
No, not really. I think contest rate, we've had, I believe, Sniper in pretty much every game, picked or banned. We've had like a Siren there as well, Enchantress there as well. So we are seeing some heroes kind of rise up in regards to kind of tournament meta. But I am hoping now that we have, another 3 series. There's so much to be, presented, because if Sniper's coming out of places, Naga from, again, the pubs coming in, there's got to be some hidden gems that hopefully the teams this afternoon will show.
Yeah, and what's coming this afternoon are the games on your screen right now. We got Aurora and Team Spirit at the very end of the day, Gaming Gladiators and Extreme Gaming before that, and our panel is kicking it off, Effie, with Aurora versus Team Liquid. A good one.
This is a really good one, Cheever. I mean, Aurora is one of those teams that you have to be excited to watch, because I always say there are 2 versions of Aurora and you don't know which one you're going to get that day. There's a version that comes in and just owns every lane. They have a really clean idea of what they want to play. But in particular, when Jabs has a good game, he pops off completely. But then there are other days, Lacoste, where it feels like there's no identity. They're running around like headless chickens. Jabs on some insane hero, but either version you get is really entertaining.
Yeah, I really like the Jabs. Like when they are having a lot of success, this is when Jabs is now playing these offlaners that are super greedy. These pretty much carries from the offlane. The meta, since those days, has changed. I'm a little worried about Q, I'm gonna say, because he's been known mostly. He's one of their best players. I also play 4, so I might be biased here a little bit. But the hero pool that he likes to play, all of these melee position 4s are not as viable anymore. It's mostly range position 4 with the position 3 melee, and the most of the time you'll have some healer 5 paired up with the range carry. So I think they need to work on that and expand the hero pool a little bit. We don't know what they cooked so far, but this is the team that also can cause a lot of problems early on for some of the teams.
Yeah, for these 2 teams, I know were already 2 series early today, but Aurora and Team Liquid have not played today yet. So this will be the very first game, the very first series. We'll see what kind of Aurora will show up. But we, of course, know what kind of Aurora has shown up over the last season. Since TI, Aurora is a new organization coming on the block here at the end of 2023. They formed a roster. It's maybe slightly different than what it is right now. But TI, I don't think would you consider them having a bad year? Because it's pretty stable for a new team.
Yeah, I think especially because after those first couple of tournaments, that's when they picked up Lorinov, and then they kind of had their honeymoon period where everyone's like, oh my god, this could be the C team. And then as you see from the results, it has kind of hit a little bit of a stagnant point. Like they still make it to top 8, but then they don't have that extra little bit. And I would argue that maybe they're a predictable team. Like, we know that Lorinov is a star mid laner. We know that if he has a good game, the rest of his team rally in that aggression. If he doesn't have a good game, they can fall apart, and everything you said kind of exists, right? So maybe in their build-up to TI, they've become less predictable and have more emphasis on other players.
Yeah, I'll agree with that they're very dependent on Lorinov's performance, where he is kind of snowballing off of this mid lane, where he'll farm up a lot that first 10 minutes, right? He'll do a bunch of ancient stacks, and then he will move around the map explosively with his support. So if that can be shut down, that is probably Aurora's best strategy. But I do want to say that I don't consider them a newer team. I mean, this is the Talon of last year that had a very dominant run, with the exception of switching out Mikoto for Lorinov this year. But for the most part, they are experienced.
Balance in all things. Yeah, it looked like he might pop off in that top rune spot, but both teams just backing away from it.
Or something slapped on him, since the barrier does benefit from armor. So it's very, very strong.
其他的那种偏功能的中单他都玩的不多，但是 Nisha 是可以适应2个风格，就是随意转换的一个选手，经验比较丰富。
没错，那2支队伍 BO2 第一场比赛，这个 BP 现在已经开始了，我们来看一下他们的这个半选。
而且我觉得 Liquid 还有一个点，就是关于他们的这个1号位 Miki， 因为之前大家总是调侃他，总是有的时候会站出来，当然这个站出来是要打一个双引号，但是他们现在有所提升，就是我觉得 Miki 趋于稳定了，他不。
And yes, they did win a LAN, but as we know, by their own website, it's not qualified as a tier 1 LAN. So I don't know.
It's their own website. They could change this to tier 1 tournament. Just go with it.
But they didn't. So they did not win a tier 1 LAN yet. And that seems to be a bit of an issue. Now, of course, there's Team Liquid of last year did very well as well in top 6. But they did change it up a little bit, Lacoste, since then.
They did, yeah, with the addition of 33. This guy, when he joined, I think there were a lot of voices in the team, him being the captain as well, so they needed to get used to the new stuff. And he also, like, I think in current meta, he has his heroes that he's really good at, so I think he's gonna shine once again. These Visages, Beastmasters, that are gonna come out. And of course, Doom, he is the Doom specialist. If we go back to Riyadh Masters, this year, he was the one who kind of invented this facet from Doom, where he was selling the items constantly, getting the money back. I was talking to Fogged earlier today, and he mentioned that Doom, like one of the games that he was covering, he sold Hand of Midas 11 times.
Min-maxing everything.
It's the same thing with like Refresher. Like you can just go to buy Refresher, pop it, sell it again, and off you go. You continue playing. It's really annoying to deal with. And Doom, again, it's nice because you just get to buy any aura you want if you need it. You saw Amar do it in the previous game.
Yeah, I think actually the one that you mentioned, Lacoste, since like when we saw them click really in Riyadh, I think that was the first time where we really saw them click since they have this particular roster. And I wonder if it has carried over to this TI group stages. We have not seen them play yet, we do not know. But the current meta, I think, Effie, is seemingly should fit them well.
Yeah, it definitely does for Liquid, because the thing about 3-3 is that I do feel like out of all of the offlaners, he is the one that hits his timings the fastest when he gets to play his signature heroes. And this meta has really just been, you get a couple of items on your offlaner, or you're waiting for like a blink from your offlane Sand King, an aura from your offlane Underlord, or what have you, an Axe from your Beastmaster, and then you just take over the entire map, and that is what Liquid love to do.
I love these picks. So this is something that we've been trying to theory craft, how to utilize the Wind Ranger's damage with the Whirlwind. That was the facet that people didn't take until it got buffed. It got slightly nerfed in the last version of the patch, but it's still very good, giving you that extra attack range. And then with the Tusk, either you go with the Drinking Buddies, so you're getting a flat damage, or if you're going with the tag team where you're applying AoE slow to pretty much everything you hit, and you have a little bit of an extra save coming out with the Drinking Buddies as well if you decide to go with that one.
Yeah, and it's also just outside of consistent damage, it's just a strong lane overall, right?
Yes.
You just get the ranged carry plus melee support, and you always have that means to catch somebody with the ice shards. They fix each other's weaknesses.
Nice response though from Liquid, right? Like Doom is quite an independent offlaner. Like once you get him to his levels, he can be self-sufficient, allow for the 4 to move. So you go for a Weller, and then like the whole point of Winner on a Tusk is chasing down the lane. Like utilize the fact that your enemy will be up by your safe lane tower, chase them down. Now you have brambles to deal with, it's going to be obnoxious. Living armor potentially from the Treant from the other side of the map. Now you have these two supports fully remove a lot of the early game timings of Windrunner. Because I think in the, I can't remember I mean, we've seen so much Windrunner today actually, but when you have the Whirlwind facet, you need to run in and out of the fight, utilize Windrun. If you get hit by one root, overgrowth, anything, you can't utilize that nicely. So it prevents Windrunner from feeling good. And you don't want, like you can buy Manta, but it's like you want to buy Glide Pit. Now you need a Manta and a BKB. It's like there's a lot of investment on your carry.
And the Lincolns, right? Because you're playing against Doom.
Sure.
Conceptually, why a lot
4 items to feel good in the game,
For Team Liquid, I like the response. Dark Willow and Treant Protector, as you said, root mechanic, this is something that Wind Ranger does. You get hit by some like random bramble, you're most likely gonna die, gonna be followed up with Doom, and also Treant Protector. Tusk especially, he doesn't like the root mechanic. Let's say he blinks in, he can't use the snowball because of the root mechanic, so it's quite difficult for him, but also this is the tank Cardell. We talked about it during one of the Dream Leagues, and this hero actually becomes super tanky early on with his item build. You know, most likely it's going to be position 4, but it's still a flex pick, so they can keep it maybe played from the mid lane where you're building the Solar Crest, and super strong laner with his facet.
I love the fact that, so day one, right, Sniper's our hero, right? It's been banned 7 times, picked 5 times, 100% contest rate, 40% win rate. I want this hero to keep losing so that we can talk about, remember back in day 1 of the Road to the International, how everyone thought Sniper was the hero. But of course it's very strong with the shrapnel, the instant damage you get, like it secures lanes, you buy Solar Crest and you have Aghanim, like you provide a lot because you get to just win lane, and that's kind of what Dota's about, win your lane and take 20 kills in the first half an hour of the game. But yeah, so far, TI has not been doing too well.
But if you look at Liquid's supports on both side lanes, Sniper is a hero that excels against both. The Shrapnel versus Dark Willow is really good because she suffers against ground damage, and her brambles got nerfed overall, so she can be exploitable on lane. And if you were to put him against the Treant Protector, he also just outtrades him. He's one of the ranged heroes that just keeps clicking Treant Protector, doesn't make it easy for him to run up on. So they pick this sniper for lane security, and they hope that they can give Windranger the space to farm the BKB to be able to fight, to run through these willows, to run through the brambles, to run through the roots.
That's why the storm feels nice as well for Liquid, because if you have Kunkka as like your front line and then you have like good lanes, if Sniper can pair up with one other hero, one smoke or two onto Windrunner, now you've killed her off, even though you have like this kind of concept that Effie's mentioning, if you just kill off the Windrunner a couple of times, then it's going to feel good. And you just need to ignore Kunkka. Like this hero, he's going to have like 2500 HP, he's going to be Rum buff, Admiral Rum as well, like he's going to be tanky as hell, so just ignore him, find other people, and of course, any Spirit hero will be able to do that very nicely.
My experience with Kunkka is this hero can be very annoying with the recent changes to how the hero works. He can be super tanky, as Dee said, but also a hero that if you kill like once or twice, his item build is going to be delayed, and it feels like he's not going to reach that point where he feels like he's still a strong, you know, team fighter with the pipe, with his bow.
Is it Kunkka here, or?
Yeah, most likely. Then most likely pair it up with snipers, so you have the combo, keep them inside the shrapnel, maybe some like earlier X on level 3, maybe even level 2, it depends how things are gonna go, so you can get the kills. Those shrapnels from sniper, they do hurt a lot, and I feel like Kunkka, at the end of the tournament, I might be wrong here, but I'm gonna call it, is gonna be abysmal win rate.
So the way you all are talking about the draft so far, I feel like there's quite a bit of favoring Team Liquid's first four over Aurora's first four.
Yes, I think Aurora needs to get up the laning stage strong. This is something that they needed to work on for a really long time. Why the results were not there. Very late game oriented team. They love to drag out the games, of course, coming out from Southeast Asia, while Team Liquid also being early oriented team. These are the teams that do love to stack a lot, and I see Sniper, I see Kunkka, Windranger. These are the heroes that can invade Team Liquid's triangle and steal some of the stack, because Team Liquid is the team that stacks the most.
I want Aurora just to have, like if last pick's their hero, I want Lauren to have that kind of a little bit more explosive nature to them, because they don't pressure towers really. Their lanes, sure, with the Sniper can be good, the Tusk Windrunner can be good, but if the lanes don't go well, they never take towers, they never sweep across the map. It's just a lot of independent farming. Like Kunkka can gank, but you can also just farm 2 jungle camps in a lane, right? And that's where Doom should farm, Storm will farm, this pick for Mickey will also farm. It's a lot of just, Liquid should get to 20-25 minutes and feel good in the game. That's kind of where the favor is lying.
Yeah, so I love this Razor pick from Liquid because it gives them that early game explosive damage from the safe lane that they needed, because what I wanted to say was that I do think Aurora, at this point before the Razor had come out, did have stronger lanes. They had lanes that they could have taken advantage of the side lane heroes on Liquid, and then off of a last pick Lorenoff hero, they might have been able to snowball before Liquid get to the point where their Doom is comfortably farmed, ready to play on that Doom, before Storm has enough items to go in and out DPS through the run. But this Razor just creates so much issues right now for Aurora, because it's going to out 1v1 whichever hero they last pick here.
Yeah, if you put Kunkka into that lane, it's pretty. You can put Kunkka mid, but then Kunkka vs Storm, Storm will just farm. Kunkka doesn't really pressure him. Kunkka to off lane. Now you're playing into Razor. That's like Liquid has done well throughout, you know, the couple years that they've been as a roster. Is they always make sure they have multiple pressure points to deflect they're against, and here Kunkka is deflect for Aurora, and it is uncomfortable talking about the lane he has to go to, either or.
What about the Sniper? Put him, I mean, sounded good for a second, now it doesn't sound good anymore.
My farming Sniper mid, my farming Windrunner carry.
It's a bit too much. I think they have a big problem here, what they're gonna pick for the last pick. Usually there is, you know, a clear pick. Sometimes you'll see teams discussing a little bit, but I don't see this clear hero that's going to be picked up. Mirana, she's fine. She's also a hero that builds into Gleipnir, so double Gleipnir now coming out from Aurora. They will have, also you have X into arrow combo, and you have something to break the Lincolns.
It is
a mid sniper. Okay. I didn't think they were going to go for it.
So I actually think flexing Sniper to mid was probably the best thing they could have done, because there was no gotcha pick for this Storm on mid that they could have gone for here. And going for this Mirana, it gives them a little bit of that extra, like you said, low cost means to kill in the early game. You have the arrow into X combo, and then hopefully you roam off of that, you ball off of that Mirana. But is it good enough? I'm not feeling it very heavily, but it is interesting the direction that they chose to go with this draft.
That's a very diplomatic
way to
say. Oh, it's very interesting the road you chose. Yes. In other way, you don't like it.
I I don't love it. No, no, I'll say that I don't.
But maybe now extra pressure on Q. You said you look towards position 4. You got this Mirana, and we all know that Mirana right now.
Insane hero. This hero build, like, I think the best item build most of the time is drums into solar. You are buffing up your team and also having solar flare, which is insane amount of damage and the attack speed. So you're buffing up your sniper, you're buffing up your wind ranger, you have Tusk with the tag team as well. So the heroes are gonna explode. There's not gonna be that tankiness coming out from Team Liquid.
Well, we're gonna find out what's gonna happen in the opening game of this series between Aurora and Team Liquid. We're heading over to our commentary duo of BCOP and Lizard.
Thank you very much. Coming in here with Lizard, we've got Aurora against Team Liquid. It's a last pick Mirana, and I want to hear your thoughts. The panel didn't seem too convinced.
Yeah, happy to be here, BCOP, once again with you. I do think that Mirana was a solid pick just because the hero is really good, like panel talked about. However, they were caught out with this Razor pick. I really think that they didn't really have quite the best answer for him, and the lanes should be a little difficult for them to get out from. But the moment you get out of these lanes, like this, the Mirana ultimate, this Solar Flare, plus Wind Ranger, plus Sniper, heroes are gonna melt. I think Lacoste talked about it as well. Like, you have so much burst damage, so it's on Liquid actually to come out of these lanes really well, have the Storm jumping the Sniper, jumping the Wind Runner. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot about Mirana and the Solar Flare. It's been pretty strong in the past. We've seen a couple Razors so far, but it's yet to get a win. 0-2 so far, and just not exactly performing the way these teams that are trying to pick it up and use it. It's just not like it's not looking like the Razor we've seen in the past, right?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, this hero for me is good in specific situations, but at the moment he's not like my top tier safe laner or off laner even. You know, I don't see anyone fighting over a Razor in pubs, and that's pretty much how I gauge if a hero is strong at the moment or not. Of course, there isn't really too many tournaments going on, and people are still testing a lot of stuff in pubs. So let's see. The lane itself, like, is the reason why they picked it. You are playing this Razor plus 3 ends. There aren't many heroes that can defeat this lane.
Yeah, not exactly an easy lane to go up against, and we are taking a look over mid. Nisha against Lornoff here, and Lornoff, one of those players that I was really excited about when we were casting him, seeing him on Level Up. I was really excited, and now to see him on Aurora, he really seems to have found a home where he feels confident, and I just want to see what he does here against Nisha. It's not exactly the easiest matchup, but we'll have to see it, especially with the static side of the Storm, if it's going to be too overwhelming for him.
Yeah, it's one of, I think that's, actually, you mentioned Level Up, and I think he was in Serbia, I'm not sure, in one of the cities, Belgrade or Novi Sad, and that's how he even got into SCA, because one of these teams was screaming in Serbia. So, yeah, a bit of a story of his travels. You don't necessarily see these CIS players get into SCA very often. What's happening on the safe lane, by the way?
Couldn't name many others that made it from SCA, from CIS to SCA, but
Screen. I think he did it like a long time ago.
Oh, on a team outside of Screen Squad?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he played in one team in his career that isn't Screen Squad.
Yeah, because the amount of iterations of Screen Squad I had seen casting JDL back in the day is many.
Yeah, a lot of different players. Very good tier 1 players went through that.
Seeing Nikkei here up against Jabs on this Kunkka. Lacoste was in. He thinks this hero Kunkka is going to have a low win rate. Are you in the same thought process as him?
I'm not sure. Like, I've played a lot of games against him with Kunkka recently, and the hero doesn't necessarily look that weak. This might be a bad representative game, Jabs, top lane.
Yeah, he might just be dead, but that arrow from Q might save him if they just can't keep up. But again, Insania are still there to get this kill, and they'll get first blood for the side of Team Liquid.
I feel like like I said, this might be a bad game to just make any conclusions of, because it's going to be really rough for him. You just don't want to be Kunkka in this game, and I guess what they have to do on top is start creep skipping. Like Q needs to perhaps already think of maybe getting some creep waves behind the tier 1 tower.
Looking for Ollie for a second, but also just trying to keep that Lotus possession in their hands, and Boxy's gonna be the one who picks it up. Dark Willow was a very popular hero throughout the year, and still seeing it, I mean, the whole year around. There are not many heroes that hang on through multiple patches the way Dark Willow has.
Yeah, there were a couple this year, you know, like Pangolier perhaps. Literally played through 18 patches in a row. No matter what they do to him, the hero has to be broken. But yeah, overall, Dark Willow probably one of those position 4s that's more or less always in the meta. Like Dark Willow, Hoodwink as well for a really long time.
Yeah.
We'll see what Boxy can do on the Dark Willow. I do think that there are stronger heroes at the moment on position 4. It's just that a lot of them have been banned out as well.
And definitely finding that a lot of drafts focus position 4s. A lot of these 4 heroes are making the difference in a lot of these fights, especially Dark Willow is one of them. Terrorize, Bramble Maze, very difficult to play around, especially in a team that might clump up too much and find themselves in a bad position. Say a good Bramble Maze comes out, or they're hit by Terrorize. Gives them the opportunity to have a long duration static link, or give the opportunity for Storm Spirit to ball lightning in. There's a lot here that kind of works in tandem together for the side of Team Liquid, but that being said, there's things that can really be put together well for the side of Aurora and their heroes as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Jab's in trouble again over top. He is getting body blocked here by Insania, but we'll get under the tower, so he will survive. Q now needing to run, but has 2 leap charges if need be.
Yeah, one thing that that Liquid do have is a lot of roots when you look at them. That's what you were talking about. Like you have these Brambles, you have Insania with his Overgrowth as well.
Yep.
And heroes on the other side that don't necessarily like to play into a lot of roots. At the same time though, not too many reliable stuns. Not too many ways of getting on top of targets and locking them down with the stun. So yeah, we'll see if Aurora can abuse that fact.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you don't have the lockdown to, say, be on top of 23 Savage on this Windrunner, then you could be asking for a lot of trouble and allow him to kind of output that damage, which maybe makes me think that he's the choice 1 target for 33 in his Doom.
Yeah. But like, if you listen to the panel, like, they really, like, you could read it between the lines if you even had to go between the lines. They thought that Liquid probably have them outdrafted. And usually that goes back to, like, the playmakers. On one side you have this Sniper on mid lane, on the other you have Storm. Of course Nisha should have a better time rotating, creating space, right, than a Sniper. But at the same time, I think the real playmaker here should be 23 Savage. Like, you have this Wind Ranger from the safe lane. Like, he should be the one rotating around and making space, creating stuff happen. He does have this Whirlwind facet. It is useful, even versus a Treant, so... Yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna be the one making all the rotations.
Shackle. As Ollie's right in the face of Boxy, they lay down the Brambles, and they've got these shards in front of him. Goes to the Snowball. That connects while Boxy's in the Shadow Realm, and 23 even walking forward to try and land a power shot and maybe get a kill, but doesn't land it, and we'll have to just back off. And you're talking about Sniper, you know, potentially losing this lane over mid, but he's 45-10 right now.
No. Like, there's no way he loses the lane.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean that he's gonna lose the lane by any stretch. It's just about what you do after the lane is done. Because some heroes naturally like to rotate, right? And just have it easy because of built-in mobility spells, high nukes. Sniper, like, you can play him as a playmaker, but most of the time, this is what you're going for. 2 raid bans, you're getting your power threads, maybe a Dragonlance afterwards. You know, you want to just sit back and enjoy your farm. Later on in the game, do you really bring the damage?
All right, I hear you. I understand you now. Taking a look, 1 Wisdom rune apiece at the moment, and They have swapped over to the net worth, and it is that Razor top of the net worth. Mickey not really dealing with many problems in this lane, especially with the aggression that they put on a Jabs. Jabs, he's the one who's really struggling at the moment.
Yeah. What level is he? Not 6 yet?
No.
There is some...
Fourth of the way off.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, minute 8, he's played into Razor and Treant. Like, he's finding some farm, finding some XP. Mid lane.
And Nisha was taking some damage, but now Ollie moving in, looking over to the Dark Willow. They go to the Brambles. Shards to block anybody from coming in, and if it were to be anybody, it would be Nisha with the Ball of Lightning, but you really don't want to go in like that, and all of a sudden, Boxy, despite having the high ground, is the one who loses that fight.
Yeah,
his life.
Lorenov, man, like, he is very farmed at this point in the game. He's dealing some damage if you get to him. Like, have you seen the other, by the way, the other facets on Sniper? Like, I've seen a lot of support snipers, like, in pretty high-ranked games. Like, there are a couple of rank 200 sniper spammers on 4 top lane, Jabs.
They're looking over as Mickey's gonna pop that ult, run down Jabs. Ollie pulling him in with the snowball. Lornov's up here. They're gonna try and get the kill on Mickey. They'll leap in Starstorm. They'll get the kill out of the Razor. Now they'll look for more.
Oh,
Ghost Ship comes across, and they don't even get the kill on a Jabs. He was quite low, but ends up surviving with the rotations coming through for the side of Aurora Gaming.
So many nice little things happened there. First, it was Liquid. Like, I'm gonna do a Kezu moment here. Like, who the hell fortified their creeps? That was so good, because the fortification prevented Kunkka from getting 6 as they're diving him. That's the first thing. And then, of course, the Drinking Buddy snowball save on the Kunkka. And you know, I was talking about the Sniper and how he likes to chill back and just hit people. This is perfect for him. They initiate on you, you don't have to make a play, you just TP under your tier 1 tower and you hit people. Perfect execution for them, and it wasn't really hard to execute.
Lorenov not afraid to take fights. When we saw him with Level Up, he was playing pucks and everything that just wants to jump in and go. Meanwhile, they are chasing Ollie, and they're not going to go and get this kill onto this Tusk, so soon it's going to be Q getting that level 6, having that Solar Flare available, and all of a sudden these right clicks on Anisha, making him feel a little bit uncomfortable, but he survives it all. And you'll have the Walrus Punch as well. So
was that 3 hits, by the way? I'm sorry, Bcop. Was that 3 hits that brought him to half HP?
Yes, it was. Warnock's putting in the little shots here and there. He knows he may not get the kill, but as long as he's safe, he's gonna try and lower the HP a little bit, right?
But, okay, now, I've been completely advocating for Liquid and how they can jump people. But if this Sniper is left unchecked, like, it's only Storm that really does it. Like, your Doom is buying Midas. Treant isn't really gonna get his Blink Dagger fast. He needs, like, a Shard and then a Blink Dark Willow as well. Razor is usually a hero that's far from the Sniper, and Snipers enjoy playing into Razor. Like, this could be one of those free Sniper games.
So far, kind of looking like it. I know we're just 11 minutes in, but I feel what you're saying. He's top of the net worth, and it's a lead that is extending quite a bit. And compare him to Nisha, who's kind of there with the Kunkka, right? Not exactly looking too good.
He tried to make a couple of rotations. They didn't work out. He didn't die, but he didn't farm during that time. So let's see. Bot lane.
Real good read of the map there. Real good read of that situation. TPing away from a lot of these Liquid heroes who don't get their hands onto the Windrunner. They will get their hands onto the tier 1 tower though, so at least they get a little consolation prize.
By the way, can we talk about one item? Like,
Sure.
I didn't hear the panel mention it too much, but these arcane boots, man. Like, who was it? I think it was Jenkins that talked about items that are good in the meta and Greaves and stuff, and how they make the heroes broken, not necessarily the heroes themselves. Like, arcanes are built by Lina, by Windrunner, by almost any popular carry at the moment, and they just make your lane so much easier. You get them so damn fast after a couple of waves, and then suddenly your position 5 or 4, whatever, can just dominate, because he has infinite mana. This item is definitely something that needs to be looked into.
I definitely agree with that, because you see a lot of supports too also get arcane boots, and then you're just never like just the core alone getting the arcane boots, like you said, is enough.
I'm fine with supports. It was always a support or maybe offlane item, but the carry buying it, that's something is sus there. leave arcane boots to us at least, you know.
That makes me feel good to give mana, but when I'm receiving mana, this is
it's like
even better. My carry does care. Ooh. Big stacks being taken from both teams. McKay's got this blade mail. He activated that to try and take this stack a little bit quicker. Meanwhile, 23 Savage over here with jabs to try and get the stacks themselves. Lornoff even shows up to take a couple of last hits.
It's a pretty good blade mail game, right? Like you are playing this Razor who isn't necessarily always the tankiest, but you pick up the blade mail, you have something to deal with 23 Savage, with Sniper's damage as well. And basically this is the name of the game for Liquid. What you want is you want these armor items that deal with snipers, with Wind Rangers. So you're gonna get armor or some damage blocking, right? Like you're gonna get blade mail on Razor and Doom, yeah, of course, Crimson Guard queued up by 33.
33 wanting that Crimson. We'll see how quickly he gets it. Meanwhile, Lornoff finishing off a pretty early Hurricane Pike. He's got 21 charges as well. This kind of feels like a time maybe Aurora want to smoke, and do just that. They kind of grouped up. They've got that Hurricane Pike ready for the sniper if he needs to kind of get out of some harm's way, out of some bad positioning. And wonder if we see them maybe get a catch onto Mickey, but he's deep inside the dire side into their jungle. Not really much to really look at here in terms of getting a kill with this smoke just yet. The only one who's potentially showing is 33 down bottom, but he's not an easy kill either.
Yeah, he's not super tanky at the moment, but he's still probably the tankiest on Liquid. And this is the kind of an issue that they've got. Like this smoke, if you're smoking with Wind Ranger, I think it's easier to invade the enemy jungle, the enemy side. If you smoke with this sniper, he's a honeypot. Like he has so much gold and net worth, you don't really want to go behind enemy lines with the jabs.
Oh, Lightning, they're going for jabs. Ghost Ship coming through. He does not have any help at the moment, and let's see. All Lightning's away. Now the Tusk there to help. Has that Snowball, pulled him in with drinking buddies. Snowball's away, Jab's trying to get out, hit by the Terrorize, ends up falling, so they will get one, but there's Lornoff getting a kill, and there's your prime target for the Doom. They'll get it on a Lornoff. Now they've got the Electric Vortex to pull him in. The Overgrowth from Insania locking in 3 more of these heroes. They should be able to get Lornoff. They will. They'll find themselves Q as a third, and they'll chase after 23 Savage, who will win run and try to get away from this, but Nisha with his last bit of mana, Ball Lightning forward. They've got the vision. The Chakra Shot's not going to be enough, and 4 heroes are dead on the side of Aurora Gaming. Just like that, Liquid, they open the game up and they take advantage of a big move over bottom.
Damn, like, even if they had some sort of an advantage, it's definitely gone right now. Like, Team Liquid are in a comfortable place in this game, and it all comes down to being stretched out too thin. Like, they went all the way to that Twin Gate, and not everyone was there. Like, Windrunner was missing, like, your sniper has to go too deep. Like, there are so many sides from which you can get attacked there. Let's say they take that fight in their triangle where they can set it up properly. It never looks like that, never. But if your Doom can get on top of Sniper even without Blink, like you're probably in a bad position to start it off with.
Liquid just like that, they get themselves a little bit of a lead, 3,000 net worth ahead. Lornoff, he felt confident. He's got that farm. He felt himself doing good damage throughout the first 15 minutes of the game. But Aurora they ran out of steam.
You're still a sniper. You want to keep your high ground. You want to use your facet like this ghillie suit. You want to keep distance from the enemy heroes. I think what baited them the most is the fact that they committed on Kunkka, right? Like they committed on jabs a lot. So you see that, you're thinking, okay, if they used everything or a lot on Kunkka, we can take this fight, but yeah, they just got out of position.
Let's see how costly Doom on Sniper is going to be. My assumption was just throw it on 23 Savage, but when you see the sniper, like you said, that honey pot, ready to just take all that honey away, and why not throw it on Lorinov and just get that kill?
Yeah, absolutely. Later on in the game, different targets might require Doom as well. Like someone like Kunkka even might be good, or Wind Ranger. But besides Doom, by the way, we talked about Blink Dagger. Look at Dark Willow, look at Boxy, like 1400 gold already. He's going naked Blink, basically. Brown boots, magic wand, straight into Blink. And I like it because we talked how they need someone else to jump in with Storm, and he's gonna be the one.
Trying to find the positioning needed to throw a solid Terrorize maybe into some Brambles. Because that's what kind of started it off, right? The Terrorize ends up getting the last little bit of control that they needed to get jabs. Also hit Lorinov. They were able to jump in a little bit further forward to make sure that they can lock onto those kills. So having that Blink Dagger soon enough, which now queued into a Smoke of Deceit, not on the Blink Dagger anymore for Boxy, but we know what he's going for. We'll see when he gets that, how much it's going to affect these fights even more for Aurora. That might make it more difficult for them. They're trying to farm their way towards the top of 23 as well as Lorinov, but it's not so easy. You know, you see Mirana on the lineup. Maybe if you haven't seen a little bit of Dota recently, you're thinking, all right, Moonlight Shadow and go fight. Well, he's got Solar Flare. It's not the same way.
Yeah, it isn't the same way, but it's also really damn good. Like, Mirana has so much impact, especially now that you've got these two heroes that benefit from that ulti so much. Like, I've seen a lot of this SF plus Mirana as well combos, Dragonite plus Mirana, like these kind of heroes. They're literally, they just park their truck and they hit you. It's tower-esque heroes, and Sniper is probably the best at that.
And not as tall as a tower, but hits like one.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a small tower.
Alright, a little long duration arrow onto the Dark Willow, but no jump.
Shoot arrow, hit arrow, doesn't really matter because this Doom has a pipe, a Crimson Guard. On top of that, he's got living armor. Good luck taking that big boy down.
Yeah, 33 doing a little bit of his own Aurora gaming. So BKB for Razor. That's next on the docket after this Manta.
Are they gonna steal this? Like, they're aware. This is a smoke. This might be a good fight for Aurora.
They have to be willing to make that jump. They'll go to the Shackle, connects onto the back, onto the tree, and they'll go after this Razor. Mickey with a Blade Mail, though. 23 Savage is going to be dead first. They assassinate, they get the kill on Insania. They'll take out the Tree Protector. The Terra is going to be throwing that lens onto the Mirana as well as the Kunkka. The Ball Lightning in, the Doom onto this Lorinov Sniper. They get the kill there. That's 2 heroes dead. They didn't even get the Razor after all is said and done. They have the X, they have the Torrent, but 33, like you said, Wizard, he's tanky. The extended shards.
I mean, that was funny, I guess.
I can't do anything.
Well. Yeah, half of his HP is gone, and he managed to get away. Did they get at least they got the Tormy. The Tormentor goes to Oli, but that was such a... Let's not say bad fight for Aurora. Let's say just very good execution by Liquid. Storm Spirit jumped the backlines. He prevented them from even hitting the Razor, so it was literally only 23 Savage hitting him. And he was kind of hitting himself because he died from that Blade Mail. The Razor Blade Mail 5-head itemization. Definitely working out.
Yeah, it delays the BKB, but who needs it? You've got the Blade Mail. Helped him farm, it helped him win that fight. Mickey doesn't even die there. And they will get the kill on the Q. That is over mid. And we're starting to see what you kind of alluded to in the early game, right? Sniper wins the lane, but Nisha's the playmaker, and he's doing a lot.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of that, and I'm a little worried for Aurora right now because they should be shining in these fights.
Right.
I really think that this should have been their power spike, because they need to fight before the BKBs are up on Liquid. You are playing with a Kunkka offlane. This hero falls off once BKBs hit. And if you look at Liquid, I believe all 3 cores should be buying them. Now, Storm Spirit is queuing up his one. He just needs like 500 gold. Razor, I believe he's got his BKB flying out to him. Maybe Doom won't get his, but, you know, he's unkillable anyway. He doesn't care too much.
So, BKB is there now for the Razor, and it feels like with the net worth lead that they have right now, they're kind of free to get this Aegis and then fight on their time.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like once you get this Aegis, you can even start pressuring things. There is one aspect of Aurora that's really strong, and that's high ground defense, right? Like you can hold your high ground pretty damn well with the snipers. We'll see if maybe that's gonna be the play for them, but maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Maybe they can still take these fights head on.
It's always tough to go completely through to the high ground against the sniper, so we'll see how they approach it if they want to do so with this Aegis. They're still tier 2s though, so it's not even thinking high ground just yet.
Smoke up, they're going in. Usually you smoke up when someone takes this Roshan. The first one, the second one, doesn't matter. You smoke up and you try to catch one of these stragglers, heroes that didn't go back together with the team. Because while you're taking Rosh, what happens? Your lanes get pushed in, so someone needs to fix that. You see a carry TP out, then you strike and fight.
They've got the X, but again, can they get this kill? They'll go to the Terrorize. Yes, they will. No help from the side of Liquid. They let Mickey die. Thought maybe that X is just gonna be a little bit of messing around, but they weren't playing.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get out. That Tormentor that Holly got, those ice shards, extra deep. Very nice.
Never really had a chance for the BKB either, and holds on to that 9-second BKB for what should be the next fight. But a really good job there, knowing the balance of everything for Aurora, right? Knowing that you've got all 5, even if it's just an innocuous arrow into an X, or X into an arrow, you still have Lornoff, who is spitting damage.
Yeah, he's still very damn strong. He is farming under vision. And they are collapsing. Look at Storm Spirit, look at Nisha. Oh, Lornoff. This might be bad.
Yeah. They're gonna ball lightning, and the jump forward, they've got the root, they'll have the damage, they'll get the kill, they'll even doom jabs afterwards, because they have the damage to get the kill to Lornoff. Shards will keep Liquid away, but it's what we were talking about earlier too. Boxy's got that blink dagger, he's able to make a jump like that. He's the one who really initiates for him.
Yep.
And they get a kill onto the sniper.
Yep, the Brambles perhaps weren't fantastic, but yeah, you got the job done. The ward was really what made all that happen. And the ward scouted the sniper, and because they knew exactly where he was, they could set up the fight properly. Doom has been expanded though. So.
Yeah, but it's still tough to fight in even without the Doom being available. They've got a minute and a half to do so. Really, a minute 20 once Sniper is back up. They're going to lose this mid-tier 2 tower.
See, will he buy another Midas? What do you think? On Doom. I swear this is how the bugs began.
With just that facet?
Yeah, it broke Midas. He's bought and sold his, like, what, because of this facet, I think like 3-4 times already. Buys it,
it's good value.
It is, of course. Like, you can use it between items. And then when you get enough gold, just...
Need a neutral, buy a Midas. Sounds a bit ridiculous when you just say it as it is. Need a neutral, buy a Midas, you know, just casually. But then you do the trade-in, like we used to do with our physical copies of video games. Hey, how much can I get for this? We'll give you 90% for it. All right, I'll take it. Cash or credit?
Yeah, that didn't exist in Balkans. You go to the flea market, you buy like this. 30 different pirated games.
All on one CD? That sounds like a deal.
Yeah, of course. Some of them are in some strange languages, but what can you can't choose.
Q. Yeah, and Ollie, actually. Q's gonna die here. They'll find Ollie, and now, drinking buddies down to the creeps, but can't escape.
Yeah, drinking buddies are amazing, by the way. It's a pretty cool facet.
After that kill, they're right back towards top. Look at this. They're right on at 23 Savage. They're going to throw the ghost ship out, but the ball lightning sticking with 23 Savage. He's got the BKB trying to run back to the base with the whirlwind. They'll get the kill. They'll look over jabs. They'll pop the blade mail, but 33 is going in. Look for the Doom. He was looking at Warrenoff, who's trying to defend, but with this Crimson, his shots are doing no damage to the Doom. They'll take the Aegis out of the hands of Nisha, but he'll be full health, full mana, and Warrenoff, you might even want to be careful about where you stand when he's back up. Instead, he'll ball lightning back towards the tower, and he's going to be a tier 3 in trouble.
Yeah, they just tried fighting without Mirana, without Tusk. Of course, it's not going to go that well for them. And Nisha, he actually just wanted to go in and die. He had this Aegis for 20 more seconds, and that's basically perfect usage of the Aegis. Let's see if Sniper can defend this. Doom is not online.
Get the top set of racks. These right clicks are doing no damage to Doom.
Sania?
Sania is taking a lot more damage than the Doom is. Not sure he can match or mirror the positioning of 33 when he's doing that. But now it's a 16,000 net worth lead here for the side of Liquid. And
it's a good position to be in if you're a Liquid fan right now. Not so much for Aurora, but Warrenoff is having so many issues.
Ball lightning Warrenoff. Vortex drinking buddies pulling him in. They're going to try and get him out, but they've got the kill to Warrenoff. He's dead for 60 seconds. They'll buyback. They'll follow it up with a kill on Ollie. They'll take out the Tusk, who dead on the side of Aurora. And back on the docket is the buildings and the objectives. How do you defend?
How to kill anyone? It's like you have these heroes that are supposed to be puffed up by Solar Flare, and they're supposed to be like just destroying instantly, eliminating one target, right? But you're playing into a Doom with a bazillion armor. You're playing into a Dark Willow with Shadow Realm. She doesn't care. Insania, living armor, and goes invis. And Storm Spirit, you just don't have enough lockdown for him. So, yeah, it's really difficult position to be in.
You know, one team's working with real damage, and the other team's using nerf. And it's nothing, so they're gonna lose 23 Savage.
I'm going anywhere. Oh, wait.
And it's almost a 23,000 net worth lead for Liquid.
Is that the goal? Like versus 23 is that?
You just want 23,000 net worth, and then you objective complete. You're good.
Yeah. The game default just ends right there.
I've seen it happen before.
Yeah, I don't even see what item really changes things here. Like, all the items that Aurora are buying are these items that they're not really items to deal damage or kill someone. They're more of the items that you need to even play the game. Like, Windrunner, Manta, okay, it's not bad on her, she's universal, but not necessarily the item that's the best for her. But you have to have it versus Treant. Sniper BKB as well.
They're looking over at Mickey, but the BKB is going to be popped here by the Razor. Nothing more doing for the side of Aurora. And they thought that maybe they could have got Mickey there. It forced this BKB, but like you said, they're just lacking the damage.
Yeah, at this point, if you're Liquid, you have multiple options. You can wait for this Doom and just try to end the game with it, or you can wait out the Aegis and go for it next, because this last side is always the most difficult one to take. Let's see, smoke up 23.
We'll search, but nothing showing up. Scan doesn't connect, and it might time where the last fight for Aurora is at the next Roche.
It's going to be a very hard one. Insania?
Wait near Dust, they found him. Nikke even thinking about going in. He doesn't exactly have that BKB for another 30 seconds, but 33 with the Shivas. He'll pop that. They'll solo up Ollie. Ollie on the run. Static Link is there. Ollie pushing him back with a Psychic Headband, but now the ball ending in from Nisha. They're going to go and find their attention on the 23 Savage, as they will get that kill onto the Windrunner, go to the back lines, find themselves Q, 2 gone on the side of Aurora. And Team Liquid, even without the BKB on Mikke, they're just so far ahead where it doesn't quite matter.
And Insania is always happy to take these kind of ganks. Like, he tanks it, but his team, because of that, takes the fight and possibly now gets mega creeps as well.
Lightning all the way across to Warnoff. And he is so dead. They'll call GG, and Team Liquid with ease have won game number 1 over Aurora.
Right, it's not... what was that game, 21? Like earlier today, it wasn't a stomp that was as hard as that one, but this is... Yeah, this is a difficult one. Someone is getting reported. I'm not sure who it is, but it's a rough game for Aurora fans.
Yeah, it's you who's getting reported, but it looked good in the laning stage for a little bit, right? Like, Lornoff did well against Nisha, but we spoke about it. You brought up the point where it was just like, can they keep holding on to a good laning stage? They don't exactly have the initiators, and Nisha showed that he was the one ready to go. So they took game number 1 for Team Liquid. We'll get more from our panel, so guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, VCup and Lizard. A tough one for Aurora fans, but I think a lot of Team Liquid fans are having a little bit of a, I would almost say that they're happy, but a little bit of a sigh of relief, because you never also know what type of Team Liquid comes showing up on day 1 of the event, Lacoste.
That's also true. Sometimes they can be a bit of a slower team, adapting to certain things. Always there's some drama, whether they're going to get out of the groups or not. But Team Liquid, they seemed very well prepared in this one. And this is a fight that is going to kind of say in which direction the game is going to go. I'm looking at the positioning from Insania. He's sitting inside the trees this whole time, throws in the blood grenade, very patient. Overgrowth is ready. So what he's going to do is he's going to land a 4-man Overgrowth, nice terrorize as well with some brambles. Before that, then also Doom. So very nicely played team fight coming up from Team Liquid. This is what their lineup is built to do.
Yeah, and also the positioning from that Storm Spirit on Nisha, right? He zips in to start the fight, zips out, kites out a little bit, waits for the Dark Willow terrorize, and then goes in. And all he had at that point was a Kaya, but they were also pairing it with the Living Armor. So they had the Living Armor on the Storm, who was zipping in and managing to live through these fights because of that and do the initiation they needed. And in this fight in particular, Liquid are doing the Tormentor, and Aurora wanted to fight back here too. So 23 walks in, gets the Tormentor kill with Whirlwind, but also dies.
Yeah, I mean, they have no front line. That's kind of the key issue here. Like, you're playing into a Doom.
Hey, you're saying Tank Cardell is not a front line?
I mean, they need more. You need multiple options here, boss, and right now they don't have it, right? Like, we already said that they don't really pressure towers. They kind of did lack a little bit of damage after laning phase, and when you see like the fights, it's just Liquid. They're comfortable. They see exactly what needs to happen. They hit the timing, and then when they go to a big fight, like again, Roshan, like 24 minutes before that, Kunkka steps up. Okay, you've got a Doom on your face. Someone else steps up, like a Tusk. Okay, you've been bramble mazed, or you've been, terrorized. Like, the whole foundation of Aurora's draft is built around, let's not take a crazy game-ending fight until 25 minutes where we all have BKBs and Mjolnirs and everything's tickety-boo, and then no, that's not going to happen. They need a little bit more early game to even get close to Liquid.
And the story of the patch, even with the C letter patch, is auras, right? You had the Doom who built Crimson Guard and Pipe.
It was riveting, wasn't it?
Yeah, this aura meta is still in full force, it seems like. And they had this idea with Mirana where they would press Solar Flare and then the Wind Ranger and the Sniper would amp up, but the Crimson Guard just eliminated that entirely. And then you run into the issue where your offlaner on Doom has auras and the enemy offlaner doesn't have auras, or the other way around. How do you fight a team with auras when you don't have them? Kunkka went for that blade mail into Ags and it didn't work out, Lacoste.
Yeah, as I said before, like Kunkka is going to be the big bait, I feel, of the tournament. Like right now, a lot of the offlaners, they don't feel good to play. There are certain like top tier offlaners, and we're going back to some of the old offlaners. We've seen Team Falcons, now we're seeing Team Liquid going back for Doom because he can get that money back. He can pretty much buy anything and it feels good on the hero. We'll also in the heal meta with all these position 4/5s getting a lot of heals, and he's going to stop that with his Doom.
Doom. So I think this hero stonks are going to be on the rise throughout the tournament.
Now, we did say that even though we favored Team Liquid's lineup, the thing that we thought Aurora was going to do okay in was doing well in the lanes. What about Team Liquid's lineup, Effie, went wrong for Aurora that didn't happen?
Well, Aurora did do as well as they could in the lanes. Like, their sniper had a great laning stage versus Storm, which is expected, but then Storm hit 6, and the sniper's threat kind of erases from the map, and they did win the side lanes as well as they could. But like we mentioned, all it took was one successful fight from Liquid when they were ready to put the pedal to the metal, which is when Storm got the Kaya. They blinked in and they had that fight bottom, and that just blew the whole map wide open, because you can't really recover after that, because you can't do as Aurora what Liquid did to you. You can't take that one fight where you just dominate them. You're just kind of waiting and hoping your Wind Ranger gets farmed enough to run in for you.
Yeah, and we got our standout player. I think it must have been a tough choice, because Nisha played very well, as we said, that mid lane. Definitely, the moment he got level 6, it made a difference, and he did not die. But the other side, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room, T, because there was one hero that was first. Hey, that was the other one I was going to say. There was first phase picked, you got the Doom, overall first picked, and it just felt like he was not addressed at all. He had the freest game, crushed it.
Yeah, I apologise to all the fans for this TI. It is going to be potentially a Doom TI. Again, we're on the road to the International, so we still have some days before we get to TI, but I am looking forward to having to talk about a hero that buys Midas, buys auras, and then exists.
Wow.
Well, he didn't buy Guardian Greaves. That's the only thing that is missing
room
from
for
his inventory. He
Yeah.
could improve that coming into the second game.
Yeah.
That's the one that got nerfed, the mech. Maybe it was like...
No more healing needed. No more healing from me, please.
Yeah, we needed a harsher nerf on the bans, on the auras, sorry. But yeah, I think, again, Liquid played very well. Draft strategy, it was very much Liquid. And I would argue you have to think about Doom, especially with like the teams like 33 on it. So yeah, respect Doom. Have a bit more pressure from Aurora, please. Like, your lanes go well, and then you just see Storm farming jungle uncontested. Like, you have Task, you have Mirana, but there's no other hero to go into the jungle, to do something. I want Aurora to be active, and they were very passive, so... More fight, please.
Do we feel then this result and the gameplay that we saw was a result of the draft?
Yes, it's easy to say that, you know, they lost the draft. But this one, I liked their draft until they started to overcook with this, you know...
So you like
first of all,
Kunkka,
3 first picks were fine, and then Kunkka came in, and they then shifted Sniper to the mid lane, and it was way too much. First, they're going to lose they don't have enough damage with this Mirana and Kunkka to kill Treant plus whoever is in that lane, because it's just too much. You don't have early damage to deal to go through that tankiness of Treant Protector, and later on... like this Sniper, you don't have any form of initiation whatsoever. He wants to farm. Same goes for your carries. And also Kunkka, like, he could be the one, you know, running across the map, maybe setting things up with the X into arrow combo, but there was just not that happening. And also what the hero wants to do, he wants to clear some of the stacks, because that's what the hero does really well. And you get to your item timings, and also what Effie pointed out, I want to see the auras from the offlane Kunkka. I think Blade Mail is also a big bait, because this item has been nerfed heavily. The cost has been increased by 200 gold, and I think you need to shift your items around.
Easy fix, just fix the draft, and then the play was there. Effie, you agree?
I agree, because I do think their early game went well. Like, they played the lanes well, and they did have a lot of, like, farming that was going on before the map was blown wide open by Liquid. I think the biggest issue here was that when the Razor came out last, they didn't have a good solution for the Razor. So they just figured they'd pick Mirana, and they would just Solar Flare through the static link, right? Mirana's going to give the damage that was taken away from the static link to their carries, and they would pop off after that. But that's just too... It's too inconsistent of a means to approach the Razor, because what happened is that they had to put Sniper mid, and then they didn't have a hero to play off of on Lorinoff. Aurora typically do well when Lorinoff is on, like, Pango, when he's on Puck, when he's running around as part of their 3-man ball. But Sniper cannot do that inherently.
Now, what we do know about Aurora, they've had an okay year, a year where they made it to a lot of events, and they come top 8 regularly. But one thing that stands out, if you watch Aurora play, even in the games or series that they lose, they get games off of most of their opponents. In group stages, they will tie almost everybody, and even if it goes to a third game, they'll make sure that, well, if there's a best of 3, they'll make sure they have one game there as well. So I think, if there's any team that can learn from this and come back very strong, it would be Aurora.
Yeah, I mean, they have Sunbear as coach. Like, they have plenty of experience. I was going to try and use a bigger word, but I was panicking on the stage. I won't use a big word, but it doesn't matter. Thought I'd just share my thoughts.
Platora? What do you mean?
Yeah, but I just didn't want to butcher the pronunciation of Clefrit or whatever it was. Anyway, but yeah, they got like strong coaching. They have the ability to do it, but it kind of baffles me a little bit. That like we know how Liquid plays. Like Liquid, BB, these type of teams, it's strong lanes and just outplay and dominate your opponent. Like why is Aurora coming into this game one presenting Liquid with, hey, beat us in lanes and do this? It's like, do you need to lose a game on LAN to then adapt? So that's maybe Aurora's.
They want to make sure that it's
en lo
not
que resta el
working
torneo,
in game one.
Yeah, exactly.
I like their idea.
Are they still playing like this? It's been a couple years now. Just need to double check for the 20th time.
Our old style still does not work.
Big overthinkers.
Yeah. And that's kind of what happened here. Like they overthink, they cooked a bit hard, they flexed a Kunkka into a Liquid that likes to pick Razor and stuff. So I think this next game is kind of the reality check for Aurora. They are going to wake up, realize what they're playing against, and I would like to think it's going to be a much closer game.
Me too, because on one side you've got Aurora that generally does well in their game twos if they lose game one. Team Liquid has a little bit of the opposite effect, where if they win game one, they're like, oh, we got this, guys. And they play maybe a different style, and they normally go to a third game as well, Effie. So this one might be just a flipped switch.
It might be, because like you mentioned, Chiefs, Aurora do take games off of almost every series they've played this year. And not just that, even the games they lose tend to be competitive when they're in good Aurora form and not crazy Aurora form, because we've seen both. But Liquid have had the tendency to lose their game twos. I think that after the Riyadh tournament that we recently had, Liquid did learn a lot, though, and they looked different towards the end of it, where they're going to maybe carry that discipline and that momentum from that tournament into this one. So I expect them not to slip up in this game, too.
Okay, because is there anything that they could learn from a match like this? I kind of felt like once the laning stage was over, and you highlighted the fight that was happening at minute 15, and it kind of felt like that was already, okay, you know what, guys, pack it up, it's done. Do they have anything that they can go back, we could have done that better, or was this just...
I don't think you go after a game like this where you're trying to point out the mistakes, maybe after the full series where you have time. But for now, you're just going to keep up the momentum, something that you've been doing pretty successfully throughout the year. And just nothing's wrong with Team Liquid's draft. Like even when they, I would say, lose some of their drafts, it does look really good still on paper.
It solidifies the concept, right? It's the idea like Doom can be first picked. We can play around it. Boxy can play an aggressive 4 to then play with, Nisha, who wants to be a little bit more kill hungry, right? I think the concept of game one is what kind of now go, okay, we've finished our first game. That worked out well. We can now replicate that concept many times over now.
Yeah, you don't want to overcorrect or look at a game that you won and try to pick out mistakes, but obviously you can always do better, because even in that game one, there was one smoke that Liquid hit that didn't connect on anything. Like, they did try to play with the Storm earlier than that minute 15 timing, but Aurora dodged them very well, and they just didn't smoke into the correct area. I think the Tormentor fight that they took, where they actually lost the last hit on Tormentor, and Aurora took it, they could also reflect on that and think that maybe if they're going to do those 20-minute aggressive plays, they have to be slightly cleaner. But for the most part, they are happy with that game one.
Well, I also am happy with seeing Willow do as well. I will also comment quickly on how cool Boxy looked playing Willow. The sunglasses definitely help in the cool-looking department.
Oh, look at that. He looks like he's about to fly a plane or something.
Yeah, he is, but I do believe he has...
Wait, is he standing? Oh, he's standing.
He might be playing some tiny.
Is he standing?
Position 4 tiny airlines coming in.
I will say, so every desk is a sit-stand desk. You can adjust however you want.
But have we, in the history of Dota, had a standing pro player?
We have not.
We've had multiple phone books used by EE before on a table to raise it.
Can I just say that if he does play standing, I would like to take partial credit, because I sold Boxy on the idea that I was able to play while standing and walking as well.
I know which player is going to be only playing standing. That's Saxa.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't know if the
Everybody
desk goes
calm
up
down.
that high.
He's on a chair.
He is a stand-in after all.
He was leaning on a chair.
Yeah, but if he sits while the desk is at that height, then you're literally having your wrists above your head at that point. We'll see how he does. But he does have a little bit of light sensitivity, which is why he wears sunglasses.
Yeah, I don't like this. I'm not. expert in reading the body, but this doesn't give me confidence. This like resident sleeper pose that we're seeing on the screen right now, I want to see that fixed.
But I think
also not good for your back.
I think if those glasses were sunglasses, you'd think differently because
for sure, sunglasses just make everything cooler. Times 10.
To be fair, it is drafting phase, and if you're not actively participating in drafts, if you want to kick back and lay down in your chair, it doesn't matter too much, and I don't think there's that much draft contribution coming out of carries.
Yeah, but look at Insania. That's confidence for me.
Yeah.
Arms
That's someone who
crossed,
contributes to the draft.
No, we can see what's happening because draft is indeed on your screen. Got Aurora this time around on the Dire side, Team Liquid on the Radiant side. Aurora also first pick, which is flipped from last game. They still go for the Wind Ranger overall first pick for them, and we have a little bit of a change up in the bans as that is the Doom banned out. It means that of all the heroes, Lina is still in the pool. That was banned out previous game, and that is it, I believe. And Enigma is now banned as well, and that means Timbersaw's in the pool. There you go.
Liquid just making the statement of, if we have ability to pick Doom, we'll go for it. If you have first pick, we respect it so much that it is gone for us. So again, future knowledge for other teams against them, and you know, Windrunner first pick is perfectly fine. SD's banned out by Aurora, so you can't get rid of your Windrun. Again, you still have availability to Tusk down the line. Like, I don't think Windrunner was really the problem. It was the Windrunner into, they picked multiple heroes without respecting Liquid after the fact. And Omni Knight, a stellar hero. You might argue that
no, because we've been in the green room and you're like, yeah, Omni Knight, this hero, very good.
It's silly. It is stellar. It is, because everyone in chat's like, just buy Nullify. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work. If you press Repel and then have Guardian Angels active, the Repel prevents the Nullifier from getting rid of anything. Therefore, you can't buy the item that you use to destroy Omni Knight. So it's stupid. You get debuff immunity for like 40-odd second cooldown, much better than a BKB.
Liquid banned it out in game number 1 in the second ban phase as well, so it was on the radar already.
Yeah, it's on the radar of every team in this tournament. It feels like Omni is either banned in the first phase or banned in the second phase, because usually Omni isn't the first overall pick you go for. Like, if you're first pick, you're looking at that Wind Ranger, you're looking at that Furion, you're looking at that Doom, but if those heroes are just out of the equation, boom, Omni Knight. And not only is he great for the reasons T mentioned, but he's just a really strong laner. Like, this stellar.
Thank you.
A stellar laner. It feels like there are very few lanes that this hero can lose, and it opens up Liquid's bread and butter, which is ranged semi-carry on mid game.
You kind of forget that with Hammer of Purity, you only need 1 point in it, and you can just bonk. Boom! Get out of my lane. It's pretty good. And then you max your Purification and your Repel, but as a melee hero, it's surprising how much you can do.
Yeah, it's very good at trading against some of the heroes that you would not expect, especially with the Degen aura. You get on top of them, and their survivability. I know it's slightly too early, but you know what I would like to see? Maybe some Ancient Apparition later down the line. You're playing into Omni, playing into Morphling, you might need to cook it slightly harder, go for, you know, medium well instead of medium rare in this one.
Yeah, I could potentially see that down the line. If they had, you know, melee strong tanky cores, so that with stuns that could set up for the AA, I could actually see that happening. But I do like this Morphling coming out early. It's a Nikkei specialty. You know that it's going to be paired with Omni Knight, so it's going to have no issues with sustain on the lane. It's going to have a strong lane regardless. And you replicate into Wind Ranger, and you just take her Wind Run, you take her Shackle, you take her Power Shot. You're very happy at this point, if you're Liquid, picking Morphling. And it's not a hero that you're comfortable picking early in a draft like this, but with these conditions, it's perfect so far.
It already screams to Aurora that if you don't pick backline finding heroes with damage, you are going to have the same issue as last game. And like, of course, like the combination of Morphling Omni and lane, it's like, it's silly. Like, you just press 1 purification back to 4 HP, right? And you need to then entertain the idea that a bit more jump, a bit more fight. Don't go for this double scaling 4 on Aurora. I'd like to use your laning to then go find them. Because I think Omni Knight, in a game where he's behind, can feel very despair. If you're amping up a hero that also doesn't have the damage to kill your opponent, it's like a domino effect of waiting. So I think you need to be aggressive against an Omni Knight. You need to keep closing out the map, keep trying to just find him and prevent him from allowing his cores to get 2-3 big damage items.
So are we happy with the Treant Protector?
Yeah. I said Ancient Apparition. It's hard to pick this hero. Maybe somewhere in the draft he would be able to sneak it in, but the current meta right now, what you want to do from your position 5 is play some melee body, potentially with the heal, these Omni Knights, Treant Protectors, Abaddons, anything that can soak up the damage, maybe some RCs, maybe some Tusks that are increasing the damage of your carry, and then play from there, have a lane that's not going to be able, because right now I'm seeing Team Liquid safe lane, and I don't think many offlaner duos can win against that lane, and I also see Aurora with Wind Ranger, Treant Protector, very difficult to win against these two heroes.
I mean, if Tree goes for Shard Blink and finds the Omni, you know, hit the root punch, then get the overgrowth, prevent the Omni from getting close to his opponent, or then maybe even repel himself to get closer, then we have some life to the tree. But yeah, again, Timbersaw, this is kind of like the theme that I was mentioning. Like, if you keep running at the Omni, keep running down your opponent, it will threaten the ability for you to hit this time. Like, Omni Knight is kind of what Tinker, you know when Tinker was like super broken for like a week? Yeah. This is what Omni Knight was as well, where you kind of chill for 15-20 minutes, and then suddenly you're like, what are we dealing with? We can't deal with this aggression. Like, that's the window you need to shut him down in.
Pretty simple thinking from Team Liquid. Vizirizi comes out, paired up with Tusk, so that's going to be 4 Tusk with Visage, unlimited amount of damage. This is also a hero that can pretty much build into anything. If you want to go for Glip Glop, you can go for that. If you want to build auras on the hero, feels really nice.
You just said so many buzzwords there. Like,
Yeah. Glip Glop.
The Glip Glop, the Glizzy, or whatever, I don't know what it was.
There's a really scary timing now coming out of Team Liquid's draft with this Visage. So not only do you have this Visage who's just going to barrel down towers, all of a sudden you have this Omni who, like T mentioned, wants to hit that 20-minute timing. You're going to have this Roshan, right? You have tag team, they're all going to rush together. You put the Aegis on your Morphling, and then you're just going for kills, you're going for team fights. You're not going to give them any map control. And that first Aegis timing on Morphling is really important. It's almost as important as the first Aegis on Ursa in terms of what this hero can do if he has a good lane. And we know he's going to have a good lane because he's laning with the Omni Knight. So this Aurora needs to find a way to fight into this 20-minute Liquid timing, because they're going to get run over if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, Puck is one of the heroes that can take, you know, defensive fights really nicely. Like, you TP into a tower dive and you can throw down that coil. Any additional damage onto that feels good. I'm a little skeptical that the early damage is there. Like, Treant in lane is good. Post lane, you kind of fall off on damage, you need other people. Windrunner in lane, good. Post lane, kind of fall off. So I see Timber and Puck as like, these are 2 good components to deal with the aggression, but they're still missing that one extra hero. If they go for one more hero that can react to that aggression, then sure, on paper it looks good. You throw it in, but into an Omni Knight as well, it's like 1 repel and you just run out of coil. So this Omni still is the kind of the key piece of the puzzle for Liquid.
Is there, because I'm assuming for Aurora we're looking for a position 4, so we're looking for a Q hero. Is there a position 4 hero that does exactly what you want it to do? Like, that's basically the missing puzzle piece, as you call it.
Any high damage 4 that can poke in lane could be pretty good. You could go for like a Snapfire, for example. People aren't really going for Lil Shredder, but bringing that back. Like, when Omni steps up by himself, you Lil Shred him to half HP, you get rid of him, now it's like a 2v1 against the Morphling. I think as long as you can win that lane, then you can gank the Visage quite nicely. And it's like, win off lane, gank Visage. Liquid's draft does kind of crumbling down a bit.
I really like Skywrath Mage here.
Sure,
I'm a huge Sky enjoyer. I think that the hero is a lot more viable now than it was a few months ago, but a lot of teams don't want to touch it. But I think an underrated way of dealing with Omni Knight is just silences. And Sky has one of the best single target silences in the entire game. It's so long durations. He has talent stop buff it up. And if you can just get a silence on this Omni Knight with a Puck follow-up on that backline, you can make sure to kill him over and over again. It's also a way to deal with Morphling in the early game, but I'm not sure if that's on Aurora's radar exactly.
Is Rubik still available?
Yes, he is.
But just go for a little bit of that Rubik, you know, throw it behind the Timbersaw, and now you're just stealing the Omni spells to kind of match the fight. Like, if you repel, I'll repel. Not many great spells. I mean,
not many good spells to steal. I was thinking about Rubik.
But the Snapfire.
And the Snap of the Rubik. There we go. All right.
There aren't many heroes left in the pool that they can pair up with this Timbersaw to feel good to play the offlane. Timber does put pressure on Morphling and Omni Knight, of course, but Ricky's a good ban. I like that one. We're going to see quite a lot of Ricky coming out from the mid lane, especially if they don't have the catch. They don't have like many things except for Puck's Coil, but you also have some backup with your Omni Knight, Visage with you know, the auras, and you also have Tusk with the Snowball. But yeah, this Ricky with the Cloud can cause a lot of issues against Puck, against Windbreaker if you get on top of these heroes, even Timbersaw.
And another great pick for Liquid would have been the DK, the instant stun versus Puck, the blink initiation for Liquid, which they're currently lacking, and just extra tower push. So Aurora wisely take it out as well.
I'm thinking something elusive, maybe Void Spirit. I know that's a really good matchup against the Puck for Team Liquid. Yeah, so they have something, it matches nicely into Puck, and also having the silence, you can build into Manta style, into Aghanim Scepter, whichever you feel is better. You're playing into Treant Protector, so he is a natural Manta buyer. You want to get out of the overgrowth.
Yeah, like in regards to like position forwards, like, I put a lot of emphasis on just winning the lane, make sure that you shut them down. Snap, Rubik, Hoodwink, they are kind of like the big forwards. At least that can do that in some capacity. And yeah, going back to the cross point about Void Spirit, it's like for Liquid, Void Spirit, a tiny, just any hero, Shaker, if you go for the Treads, Blink into Aghanims, like their mid had to be the one that kind of opens up the game by going, okay, my lane's good, can I go to a Visage lane and overwhelm it? And that's pretty much what this hero is going to do. It's super high damage with Slugger Facet, you farm really easily, you're super tanky, you're also going to get buffed up by Repel like we were mentioning, and they have multiple forms of jump now that this Omni Knight. It's going to feel good, because if Morph goes in, I help you. If Visage is taking the tower, I help you. Like, it's not an Omni Knight where it's like, I only can save one person. Like, you're going to be able to choose different ways to take fights.
But ideally, your key focus is going to be on your Morphling, right? But I love the Shaker for having that instant stun versus the Puck. The Echo Stun versus the Puck is one of the best picks they could have had here with Ricky and DK taken out. And it just gives them that rotations early on that they needed. They didn't have that blink initiation that I talked about. Now they do. So it's really great. Liquid's draft is looking really solid. The last point I want to make is that I'm just not a fan of Hoodwink much anymore. Like, I don't think she's as strong on lane. I think that she suffers very heavily versus Visage. I think that once she bushwhacks somebody and they get repelled, it's easily countered now. So.
I still hate Acorn Shot, sorry.
Yeah, so
in a good way or in a bad way?
The first 4 minutes of laning phase easily is the lowest skill hero in the game. You take the tree bounce facet on Acorn Shot, you click it on a position 5, they lose half their HP. After that, high skill hero, sure. But the first 4 minutes, a Herald player can literally play a TI on that hero.
There's
I hate
some
it.
frustration in there. We'll see if Q can make Team Liquid feel the way that apparently Tigov has felt in the past. Let's see if they can tie the score. We're finding out together with B-Cup and Lizard.
Thank you very much. Coming into game number 2, it is Aurora looking to change their destiny, but Liquid's lineup looks pretty damn strong. I will say, though, we've got Lauren off on the puck. It's something me and you talked about in game number 1, something we wanted to see him on, and now he's there on it.
Yeah, definitely not a Herald hero. Puck, definitely one of those that's a little bit harder to execute with, not really the easiest matchup as well into the Shaker. When it comes to everything else, it's like one of my main banned heroes, and if I could ban him 4 times, it would be him. It's Omni Knight. Like, this guy, he just breaks the game. It's very easy to play him at the moment. Repel seems way too strong. Hammer of Purity dishes out way too much damage in the laning stage. However, at the same time, even though I do like this Omni and Morphling, on the other side you have the Timber, and it's one of the heroes that can break that lane if they play the first couple of minutes properly.
30 seconds to go.
So, see if there's any fights here before the horn. Looks like Liquid might be setting up to make something happen.
You have Visage, right? Like, you have Visage, you have this Death Toll. You want to fight. He instantly skills Soul Assumption. This is a hero that back in the day you'd think twice before skilling something over Grave Chill, but right now it's always Soul Assumption.
See if they can catch anybody. They're going to wrap around. Nisha's going to be here, ready to go. Shards are in. Japs is in trouble. The Soul Assumption, the Timber Chain up out of the high ground. And there is another Soul Assumption available, but Japs doesn't end up dead. Foxy on the run, runs for a right click to kill him, but instead, first blood goes to 33 as he takes out Ollie. He's now got to run. Oh, the power shot almost took out Foxy in a collateral, but man.
Moxie?
He still needs to get out of here.
Yeah, cute. He does have that Acorn Shot, but yeah, it wasn't that easy to use it this time around.
Yeah, it's not just off the trees just yet.
Pretty good, by the way, pretty good start for 33 for Liquid, because he got that kill. He reset as well when it comes to his mana and HP, so even dying there isn't that bad, because you can go back into the lane and then spam some more Soul Assumption. Of course, you buy a shit ton of mangoes. You can buy 3, 4. You just make sure that you always have them ready and available to spam with. Yeah, we'll see how top goes, because 3 and 10 Wind Ranger as well are not that easy to be bullied up.
They're gonna try though. We'll try to use this Soul Assumption right now. 2 mangoes. There's another Soul Assumption, and
never mind.
It's easy.
Never mind.
The bullying has commenced.
Yeah, 23.
20.
Swinging.
Yeah, you may not want to go that far. All right, there's no more mangoes on the way, but still is 2 more. So we'll have to just kind of keep an eye on this Visage. Meanwhile, some of the other matchups we've seen so far, as taking a look over bottom, Jabs and Q here is Insania starting with the Hammer of Purity as well as Purification, going up against the Hoodwink with just that Acorn shot for the moment.
Yeah, like, speaking of Hoodwink, I do think that this is like my favorite hero into Visage as a position 4 into these kind of lineups is Jakiro. Like, fire, that is. Like, he's still kind of solid, and just way too tanky, Soul Assumption doesn't do much to you, and then you have a lot of dots against the birds and him. However, Hoodwink is actually very good too later on. Like, once you get Maelstrom, like, 1 Acorn shot just deletes your birds. If you get 1 proc of Maelstrom, it just removes your armor, and it removes your birds as well. So they definitely thought about this very well. And Jabs on Timber, I believe this was their 3rd pick. Like, one of the reasons why this hero even got picked for them is you get a guy that can stand in front of towers and just be that statue that prevents you from taking objectives. And that's what you want to do if you're 33 and you want to take objectives.
And Lotus is going to be picked up by Boxy, so maybe more willing to go after both these heroes. Ali took a lot of damage from that last Soul Assumption, but pops himself a salve. 33 now just has 3 charges on that wand, so the mana is out, but he is getting a Bastion on the way. Bottom lane, for the moment, it's Jabs at 11 and 2, doing all right, but Nikkei, he is 18 and 1.
Yeah, they cut down all of the trees, so it's not really that easy for Jabs to play on the left side. And Nikkei, you know, just free farming. This is what I usually see on every Morphling in my games right now. And that's what you see with any carry right now with Omni Knight in the lane. You just get healed too much.
The sustain is really just that easy in a lane like this with this combo. Mid lane, I'm interested to see how Lornoff plays this game compared to the last, right? Like, Sniper's not that playmaker that Puck is by any means, so this is the hero that, if you're talking and you're a fan of Lornoff, this is the hero you brag about him with. I'm ready to see that proven.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. I brag to my mom about Lornoff. I go back home and I'm like, Mom,
this guy, Lornoff, you should see his Puck.
You should have seen his Puck.